Youth during COVID. On January 2020, the biggest pandemic the world has seen in the 21st century hit the earth, the COVID-19. A small cluster of pneumonia patients in Wuhan, China, grew into a nationwide pandemic within a few weeks. And it affected a lot of people. Some people died. Some people lost their jobs. Some people were thrown into the streets because they couldn't pay the rent. But today, we are here to talk about the youth. And when talking about the youth, the first thing that comes into our mind is education. And as a lot of factors, COVID-19 has also been a representative of showing how disproportionate the resources are distributed among people. Children with means, they could always access online education, but children with no means, they could not do that. Imagine that you're a father who does day-to-day work, a laborer. You cannot afford to feed your children, let alone buy them a digital device to connect to online school. This is the situation in most of the families in our country today. According to the International Labour Organization, 65% of people in developed countries have access to online education, while only 15% of students in underdeveloped countries have access to online education. Your neighbor's child right now might be going through difficulties in education, and nobody would know because they would not speak out. And the second thing that comes out after education is the mental health of the youth. Children are such expressionable people. We learn through going out, by interacting with our peers and the environment. But right now we're stuck at home thinking when this pandemic will be over. Imagine being in front of a desk, staring into a screen for 6 hours a day. Now imagine doing that for 5 consecutive days. Of course, you're going to lapse into a depression after some time. Recent studies have shown that 50% of teenagers around the world have experienced depression during this COVID-19. And to get out of this depression, what they do is they turn into unhealthy habits such as social media addiction. Companies like YouTube, TikTok, Instagrams, they have amassed billions of dollars during this pandemic, all because of the unhealthy addiction of young people. Someday, the COVID will be over, but it will be hard to break these bad habits. Think about it. We're talking about a whole generation of young people. Someday when the world would have moved on, and as young people ourselves, it is our duty to help our young brothers and sisters. They might be going through some problems, but it is nothing that we cannot solve if we get together. And as a generation, the only thing that we can do to get out of this catastrophe is sticking together and helping each other. When the world has moved on from this pandemic, we will have to be moved on as well. So let's stick together, look out for each other, and pay attention to each other's problems. That is the only way, and possibly the best way, that we can get through this as a generation. Thank you.